Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. My name is Dave Lees, and I'm thrilled to welcome back one of my favorite people, Maya Bagriantseva. Maya, здравствуйте. Welcome back to the skating lesson.
Long time no see. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Maya. How are you doing?
I kind of hoped for a quieter off season, but it looks like, lots of things are happening. So it feels like it's in the middle of the season still.
This is good, though. I don't want a boring off season. Why do you want a boring off season?
I want some rest.
Okay. To me, there was not enough happening the last couple of months, and I'm excited that everybody's talking again. I think, yeah, we do.
If you go on Twitter, you see how everybody is like anticipating some news, program announcements, some, who is going to which Grand Prix. So like everybody wants the season to kick off as soon as possible. Yeah.
Now, are you excited for the Grand Prix this year?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Although the most interesting, I think, the most exciting one is in Skate America.
So are you going to come visit us?
I cannot make it. No, I cannot make it there. But it looks like the lineup is just the best, especially in ice down.
Yeah, which is your favorite discipline. So
yes, obviously,
Yes. Yeah. So we had the ISU Congress, and I don't know if this will translate over, but in English they say that the opposite of progress is Congress, because pro and con, joke, but
good joke.
That was the kind of the appropriate thing. Not much change in the skating, although there was a lot discussed. I wondered what you thought about it.
I spent the whole week by my laptop. That's why it felt exactly like at the tournament, like you're busy all the time. It was interesting. Let's say that there were good things and disappointing things. Figure skating wise, probably it was not as, there was no breakthrough, there was no revolution going on. But the purpose of the Congress is not to change figure skating itself. So the ISU is the main goal, the main reason the Congress is being held, right? So they did a lot of things. Probably it's not as exciting for a figure skating fan, like all those, constitution matters, but finances, this was the biggest thing they had to discuss, because they, I don't know if all the viewers know that, but ISU does not make money off competitions. So the profit of ISU mainly depends on the stock market, because they have assets amounting, I think, to $260 million. So they invest them. And if the year was bad, stock exchange wise, then they are in loss. If the year was good, they have profit. So it has nothing to do with how successful the tournaments were, how big sponsors they managed to attract, right? So it's kind of tricky. I mean, it's like a Swiss investment fund, like a VC fund, or even the bank. So the main reason for them was to stop investing in a conservative way. So they had to adopt the new policy that they start doing some risky stuff. So they plan to have this year as a profitable one. And the next year, it's going to be double. So 4 million, I think, this year and 10 million next year. But we'll see that. It's just a projection. But the point is that they try to change. We saw Colin Smith for the first time. This is the new ISU Director General. This is a very interesting story. He came from FIFA, from soccer. He was head of tournaments for the World Cups. He knows everything about how to make a competition successful in terms of the event. So my biggest hopes are that he will manage to transform the way we watch figure skating at the arenas. And he says, I interviewed him in Montreal, and he says that, yes, this is my biggest objection, not objection, but objective. Okay. So he wants full arenas. Don't we want the same? He wants everybody to have fun at the rink, like they have at the hockey matches, at basketball games. So he wants it to be fun. That's why he is introducing new stuff, probably not as exciting as we expected, but I see that they care. I think it's very important that they care. They try to change something. And the second thing, all the small changes, like, this thing with the logo. Now they allow logo of a fashion brand on the costume of figure skaters. It may be kind of a tiny thing, but if you think, actually it's big, because what they want to do, you cannot advertise Toyota here. All you can take is the fashion brand, right? So he kind of hopes that if Nathan Chen, let's say, would have skated today, he could have, put Vera Wang here. So he wants to attract fashion brands to do the costumes. And probably then they will advertise the costumes and the skaters to their community, which is like huge and not very much overlapping, with figure skating community. So, okay, I'm too boring, but it's lots of things happening.
I think it's important. It opens up a lot of opportunities. It also opens up financial opportunities for skaters. And that's very key, especially figure skating is very expensive, but also it can potentially keep people in the sport, right? First, especially in some of these countries, it can make a difference. Yeah.
The problem is that, Chanel and Christian Dior, they will approach Olympic champions and, they do not suffer from lack of funds. So it's kind of tricky, but, again, they try to do something. I didn't see indifference, and this is what, counts. On the other hand, having 5 days in Las Vegas and figure skating wise, having backflip, cancellation of the qualification round, which hasn't even been implemented yet. It's kind of, shaky results, right? For 5 days of Congress. But, there was a drama going on there with the jumps thing being adopted and, being voted against. There was a lot happening. We just should think of Congress as something for the audience. They try to reform a very conservative, a very old-fashioned body, the ISU. My opinion, it could be too late, but good, they're trying.
Yeah, it's interesting. Last night on our live show, we were judging the Calgary Olympics, and they had the wife of Gillis Grafstrom, who was one of the first Olympic champions. He was a two-time Olympic champion. And his wife was arguing then that figure skating wasn't beautiful anymore, that it was too acrobatic. And I thought, we're still in Calgary, 1988. But everybody has eternally been having the same argument. It's the artistry versus athleticism versus modernization, and how much acrobatics should be allowed versus the foundation of figure skating.
What we have to have in mind is that ISU is not targeting, like, the target audience is not the figure skating fans, because we are already there. What they want to do,
converted, we've
lost. Yeah, we already converted. They want to have completely new audience. That's why we have rhythm dances of 80s, 70s, modern music for the Olympic cycle. They want TikTok viewers to watch it. They want people who accidentally popped at the arena because they had nothing to do Friday night and the tickets were relatively cheap. Okay, let's say not expensive, to have fun. Of course, true figure skating fans are like, okay, this is not good where this sport is going, but do we want it to be dead? Or do we want it to kind of, be alive, but be different, not as we remembered it? Because, we keep saying in Russian, we have saying that in our old times, the grass was greener.
Yes.
Probably this is the case as well. I'm optimistic because, as long as there are some changes and as long as there is some, things happening, figure skating is alive, and this is the most important thing for me. So it doesn't get dropped off the Olympic program. It's still there, and people are interested in it. Okay, let's give it a try their way.
I was wondering what you thought about the backflip. I mean, I like a backflip. To me, it doesn't. I don't want it to see it become required in competitive skating. I think
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah,
it's not. But the reports are Ilya Malinin will try to, learn how to do a backflip. To me, I don't think it's important that every skater does a backflip. I think part of the magic of the backflip is that not everybody does it, so it's special, right?
Of course, and not everybody is expecting that. If you know that every second skater is doing a backflip, then probably Adam will stop doing it, right? I think it's the same thing as the boards at the ice dance competitions. When it was only one team doing the boards, it was like fresh. When everybody started doing that last season, it was boring. It's like, I cannot take that anymore, right? So I think it will self-regulate somehow. But, one Russian ice dance team announced that they're going to do the backflip this season, probably because the partner knows how to do that. And the girl probably, can learn, or probably it's going to be only him doing that. So I think it will be not only in singles, probably somebody will start trying that in pairs. We'll see. I don't want it to be, of course, I don't want it to be mandatory. And I don't want to be in every second program. This is for sure.
Yeah, when they used to do the backflips all the time, obviously in professional competitions, and you would see Brian Orser, doing a very lyrical program and still would throw in the backflip because it becomes expected. It's just a little bit off. So, I'm hoping that it doesn't. I was talking to Sandra Bezic yesterday, and she said, part of the magic of Adam's backflip was that he was breaking the rules and taking that deduction for it.
Yeah, he dared.
He dared. He was a rebel. He's charismatic. Yeah. He doesn't look like your average figure skater, and that's part of the appeal. So, I think we'll see. I'll be curious to see what happens. It does tend to damage the ice. So,
this is also an important concern. Yeah.
It's similar to, a Lutz where, you can take a crater out of the ice. And I just remember the Yuzuru Hanyu fans, that
and the Olympic moment. Yeah.
The divot. Where was the divot? Okay, did you see it? There could be plenty of divots now. So, that'll be interesting, especially they were talking about less downtime at the competitions, right? They want to have the DJ.
I don't know how they're going to do it. The ice surface takes time.
Takes time, yeah.
But what they want to do, they want the audience to remain at the arena, not go outside to buy a hot dog, which probably will make, vendors upset, by the way. But they're going to have some, entertainment happening during the breaks. But we'll see. Okay, we'll see it. It's just the beginning of this transformation. But speaking of backflip, I also think that in terms of like Adam, it can be his signature thing. Like Malinin does his raspberry twist.
Yes.
And the public goes wild when he does that. It doesn't give him extra points. It's nothing like special in terms of jumps. So Adam can do his backflip and it can be in every program. Okay. Just, if public loves that and public loves that, let's have it.
Yeah.
I'm buying today, huh?
I'm not against it, right? I think it was interesting. Maybe Caitlin Hawayak will have a new career as the ISU in-house DJ. They could get her for all of the events, right? I wanted to ask you, what did they do at Europeans that made it so much fun and so successful? Obviously, they had a huge crowd. I believe that they had some entertainment because in the US, they always try to have these announcers, right? And these kind of corny men that go around and they ask people questions in the audience.
Like interviewing audience?
Yeah, and you start to wish that they didn't have them, right? Like it's very embarrassing and to watch. It just doesn't work. But part of that is because of there isn't a big crowd. So what made it so successful at Europeans?
It was done very professionally because it was the special team the team who handles big basketball matches. There was a fantastic DJ. He was playing music. Like if there was a Georgian team on the ice, before that, he was playing some Georgian music. If there was an Irish team, they were playing Irish music. And it kind of created the vibe before the couple took the ice. They placed colored pieces of paper on the seats.
Okay.
And there was some kind of, organizer who was saying that, okay, lift this color. And there were different flags around the audience created this way. They were doing the wave like at the football matches. It was nothing special, but it actually united the crowd. And you kind of felt you're part of the evening. This is exactly what is needed, right? You need to be not just a viewer behind the board, but you have to be kind of participant. And actually everybody felt that. Kaunas is not a figure skating place. It's not like Boston, right? Like Moscow. But they managed to involve even those who do not know a thing about pair figure skating, right? So music was really good. Like it was really, really good. Everybody was dancing. It was music that everybody knew. Probably local, but it's about local fans, right? So it was good.
Now, I'm curious, we just found out the Europeans are going back to Tallinn because there was, the opening. I was hoping it would be Kaunas, but I knew it wasn't going to. But I would like
Kaunas is betting for the Worlds, yeah.
Okay, let's give them a Worlds. When can they host Worlds? Soon. Let's do it. I wanted to ask you, they didn't discuss Russia coming back at all at the Congress. This wasn't even really
not an agenda, but it's not Congress's business. It's the council that actually can take decision like that. Of course, I think there were some kind of discussions. There was Russian delegation there. There was also Alexander Lakernik, who is the honorary vice president now. He was not there as a part of Russian team, but he was there. I knew that they're not going to discuss that because this is not, this is not a burning question. And it's in nobody's interest except for Russia. Let's be honest. Like there's only 1.5 years before the Olympics. Everybody got taste for the medals. It's getting interesting. There are so many new teams, interesting teams. Look at the pair event. It's so exciting. I know probably you don't agree with me, but it's very exciting because you never know who wins. And this is which makes it very interesting and attractive for the public. So why allow Russia back just before the Olympics so they can come and, be competitive for those, gold medals? I wouldn't say they will take everything, of course not. But in terms of pair skating, they will kill the intrigue. So I don't see anybody advocating for that.
I mean, I don't think that they would have a hard time getting approval if it were voted on Congress, because it was very interesting who was against the jumps. And I wanted to talk to you about this because if you paid attention to who was speaking and their ties to each other, it made me laugh because, everybody checks in with each other in skating. And I had heard from Ari Zakarian that he didn't think it was going to pass. And then when I saw the people that spoke, I thought, oh, okay, this was...
Don't you think it's funny that Russia and United States have the same opinion on this case, and that's why they're allies here?
Yes.
And they support each other. But it was funny, like you have Japan voting against, you have the United States, you have Russia, you have Azerbaijan, you have Israel. But against you have like France and China. So everything is pretty obvious. I'm not sure that actually in 2 years we'll have the jump reduction, because there will be another extraordinary Congress next year. It will be mainly about the Constitution, but who knows? They can, like with this qualification round that was supposed to be implemented in Boston. They even got money for that, for this extra round of competition. And then they, cancel that. So the same might happen to jumps, and it depends how they work, behind the closed doors. But it was very obvious that neither United States nor Russia, and we have to mention that Russia still has the right to vote, right? And they have the areas of influence. All big countries have areas of influence. It doesn't matter if it's the Security Council of the United Nations or the ISU Congress, right? So of course there were some countries voting, I wouldn't say like they were asked to, but after some consultations, yeah.
Well, it's interesting to see how the influence peddling works. It's especially in ice dance, your favorite discipline. It's very advantageous to have your own federation, right? In order to
good judge,
coach, right? And we see this, and there's a couple of interesting things going on in ice dance. Okay, first of all, among the council members, I don't know if you're aware, but the council members that are on the tech committee are allowed to choreograph, right, and be paid by skater. So many of the skaters will actually work with Caitlin Weaver or Albert Ukar. And I find that very interesting, as they have both come through the Montclair State Arena which is, of course, the home to the Azerbaijan Federation, the Israel Federation. But, primarily there are American teams, right? And I think it's interesting is that, people can wear many hats in ice dance. And I think it becomes a little bit inappropriate because, we did see Kristen Fraser Lukanen there, who's there for solo dance, and she's on the committee for that. She's also a caller, right? And Sean Redstadt often put her on his panel. Now, Sean is an ISU member, but he's representing the US. Now, Kristen is American and has been to Azerbaijan fewer than 5 times in her entire life. Right? I believe it's about 3, but it's fewer than 5. But that's who she's ostensibly representing when she's on the panel. But really, you're having 2 American callers, right? And I think that we see this happen a lot of times with other countries. You also have to think, if you are hiring Alper Ukar for choreography, his wife is also a very powerful Georgian judge. So you have Turkey and Georgia on your side. So you start to see the influence peddling. Igor Lukanen picks the Azerbaijan judges. You just have to, he's friends with the Ilya Molinen's parents. If you look at Skate America last year, you should pay attention to the component marks that Azerbaijan gave to Ilya Molinen at Skate America for components. Most judges were 825. Azerbaijan was 9-5, 9-7-5, right? So I think you see a lot of this influencing happen.
But
And
here we face, like, the problem also is that like how ISU works, they do not pay their judges.
yes.
It's not like in tennis. Not many people understand that. Judges are like volunteers.
Mhm.
They have day jobs. They probably retired. They probably consult some federations. And probably if ISU, I don't know, I'm not an ISU,
Mhm.
personnel, but probably if they changed that and they hired, just like an idea, 20 judges, I don't know, 30 judges full-time that go to all the competitions, and they're responsible for what they are putting in that protocol.
Mhm.
Probably the situation would have been a little bit, changed. Then you could say that if you're a judge or if you're in technical committee, then you cannot choreograph for anybody else, because that would be a conflict of interest. But so far, if you don't pay people, you kind of cannot ask them not to do stuff. So it's tricky, and it's probably should change as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's getting to the point where it should change. I mean, you hear about an ice dancer from, Michigan who now wants to, run the federation in Dubai. I mean, it's just, you start to see the way that the game is being played in ice dance.
And it's a very closed world. You have to, not, of course you realize that, but we have to realize that everybody knows everybody.
Mhm.
They're having dinners, they're having parties, they are in a very close contact at all the competition. They have evenings to spend. So there are some kind of networking happening. So of course, somebody's wife is somebody's judge. So it's, probably it's inevitable. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, it seems at the moment, it goes through stages where it gets worse, it gets better. I mean, it's kind of, tale as old as time, but it's definitely interesting. Also, there's always a lot of tension in ice dance with how big Montreal is getting and whether or not it's a monopoly, and that there are no rules to say that they can't have 20 countries, right? And this is something that even the ISU becomes weary of. So last year, and you'll hear at certain points, before Skate Canada of last year, people were becoming very negative about how many countries Montreal had. Piper and Paul got a record score at at Skate Canada, and then look at the
This
past.
is what ISU says. Look at the last World Championship podium. We have teams from 3 different schools, right? So probably if the podium was Marjorie, Madison, and Lila, it would have been different. But at the moment, they say, okay, we have lots of schools fighting for the podium. Also, I would love to remind that there were era of Natalia Linachuk. She also was standing by the ball literally all the time because she had tons of, ice dance teams. So I think it's nothing new. Probably this time Montreal is more professional in terms of, doing business. But how can you limit that? Unofficially speak to them that stop taking couples. But there are some couples retiring. There are some couples retiring after Milano Olympics, and they have to have fresh blood. And they cannot do it only right after the Olympics. They have to start doing that, a little bit ahead. So I don't know, if I were a coach in a dance academy, I would have done the same.
Well, did you notice that Montreal has not really put out a big Instagram post or statement that Diana and Gleb are now training there?
Yeah, probably they're busy. I don't know. I think that they want not to attract too much attention to that happening. I don't think that Diana and Gleb are offended by that, absence of that post. Probably it's coming. Probably it's, closer to the end, to the beginning of the season. They're working, and they're definitely not the top team of the academy at the moment, right? So if that was Piper and Paul joining the academy and there would be no post, probably that would be, more interesting.
Yeah. Do you expect all the teams to stay in through the end at this point?
Yeah, because why leave now?
Yeah.
You survived almost everything and you have chances to get that Olympic medal. Everything depends probably on the Boston Worlds, because if Piper and Paul stay on the podium, it's 1 story. If, Italians stand at the podium, it's 1 story. Nobody doubts that Madison Chalk and Evan Bates stay on the podium, right? But I don't think anybody is leaving, to be honest. I would be surprised if that happens. But at the same time, there are so many new teams waiting, for their chance. And I hope something changes. Really, I love all the teams. It's not like I'm a fan of one particular team. But if something unexpected happens, always going to be so much fun.
Yeah, you have to think that there's going to be some sort of movement happening in ice dance with this.
Sooner or later, it's inevitable. Yeah.
I do, and there are those teams that are, Marjorie and Zach are kind of nipping at their heels, and then obviously Lila and Lewis are right there as well, and continue to.
Yeah, I'm very interested in what Skate Canada chooses as their strategy, because I kind of have a feeling that Piper and Paul are not continuing after the Olympics. But Marjorie and Zach, I mean, who is going to be #1 Canadian ice dance team this season and probably Olympic season? This is going to be like really interesting because it can change. Of course, all they're going to say is that everything depends on the program and the way they skate. But I see a little bit like a little potential in probably, challenging the leaders.
How about, I'm curious of Sorensen continuing at this point. They had obviously this last year, with
challenging
for them, and then the World Championships didn't end well, and it seems like it would be difficult to even get one of the top 2 spots for them in Canada at that point. I think
it's definitely way more difficult for them now, but let's wait until the beginning of the season. Let's wait until how everything develops in different aspects.
Yeah, there was a little bit of news in dance. They're going to allow the lifts to be slightly longer. So, the lifts have been shorter, so they would
little changes. It was very interesting to see at the Congress, Eric Redford sitting by Evan Bates' side. And they were very attentive, very serious. And I was very happy to see them. I kind of have a feeling that Evan probably will pursue this career later after he's done with competitive skating. But they looked very engaged. They're very involved, and it's fun to see the face of somebody you usually see in Kiss and Cry.
I have to say, I was feeling for Eric because he had a very difficult position
Row. Yeah.
He was speaking, and I thought he did a very good job being very passionate about why the changes needed to happen, right? That
speaking on behalf of athletes,
yes, and I thought that he really believed what he was saying. He certainly seemed.
First, let's remind the audience that Eric Radford is head of the Commission of Athletes, ISU Commission. So he represents the voice of athletes. Evan Bates is on that commission from Ice Dance. So they're not just like volunteers, or they were not invited. They're part of the decision process.
And
sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, Eric was speaking about how they wanted to eliminate a jump, to allow 6 jumping passes instead of 7, and to have this choreo spin so that we see more originality, which I think is a thing. But the argument was getting twisted, right? Because people who are listening, and Igor Lukanen got up there, knowing that this is not true, and he was saying that they would eliminate a jump to replace it with a choreo spin, which is not true. They're not taking out a jump for a spin. They're already been
adding 20 seconds.
It's just giving people more of an opportunity to express.
But it's not easy for Eric. I mean, he's representing athletes at the same time. He's part of ISU, so he kind of has to play between those. But actually, he was very correct saying that, come on, figure skaters are professional athletes. If rules change a year and a half before the Olympics, they will cope.
Yeah.
And I think this is also like many federations stepped up and said that don't change the rules in the middle of the cycle. It makes sense, but what Eric said is that we can do that. Believe me, we can do that. And probably, he has a point. Well,
I thought it was interesting that somehow, and I found that this is very interesting, right? And we had a discussion about this. I was talking to Jenny. The men's final at the Worlds was very exciting, right? Somehow people decided that it was the greatest ever. And I think that there were 3 good performances.
But it was not.
It was not, right? Like it was, I've seen many great.
It was the most recent. And also it included some extraordinary things happening, but it was not the best World Cup final, no.
No, I didn't think it was the best ever. I mean, look at Brian Boitano and Brian Orser. Look at, even I thought 2023 had more strong performances, actually. Like each man was great. I think in this case, obviously it benefits the US to say it's the best ever. And it was Sam Oxier who brought that up. it's because Ilya went viral, right? But Ilya went viral for all of a couple of days. He was skating to Succession Music. He had a great program. But I'm thinking, you know, with Sandra as well, it's almost as though they're arguing that he can't, you know, that this would hurt his chances of winning if they, you know, went from 7 jumps to 6. And I don't believe
You think they're overprotective?
Yes. And I think that they want to make sure that he's on top. And there's also this, everything is about the GOAT lately, right? That someone can be called the greatest of all time.
Yeah, greatest of all time. Yeah.
I would be imagine that this will be the marketing campaign for Ilya going.
Yes, probably. Yes. But you know what made that final special? It was also Adam coming back from 19th place to bronze. And this comebacks like these also make it thrilling, exciting. It was not only about Ilya, but of course I know it makes sense for the US Federation to highlight Ilya, obviously, right? So if there was, you know, if there were Russian ladies president, of course, Russian delegation would have stepped up and said about, you know, people buy tickets to see Trusova doing quadruple jumps. So of course they're defending their point of view. So it's logical.
And this, listen, I've had this debate, you know, personally with, you know, Kristen Fraser before, who, you know, I mean, her best friend is Tim Gable. They are very, it's interesting, they're ice dance coaches, yet they're very, I think jumps are the answer to everything. And I think people say, well, Jason Brown gets points. When is the last time Jason medaled, right, internationally?
Yeah.
And I don't think necessarily, I find it a slightly homophobic view that that people want to denigrate artistry to that point, right? It's a very specific view.
But if you look at the marketing campaign for the US Nationals, you see Jason Brown being one of the biggest magnets. Of course, Ilya, of course, the, you know, quad axel, but they invite Jason to do the PR campaign for a reason. Because he is so much loved by the audience. I know, especially in Russia, people tend to say that, okay, he's not doing those quadruple jumps, so how can he be in the strongest warm-up group? But if you look at the audience and the impact he has, I mean, I don't have to explain that to you, obviously, but, you know, he's there for a reason.
If he skated in Russia, would Tatiana love him?
Yes, I think so. But on the other hand, Tatiana Tarasova is very patriotic and she supports our boys so much. And Russian boys, figure skaters, obviously, they became way better in comparison to the last time you've seen them at the international arena. So now most of them do like 3-4 quadruple jumps in the free skate. So probably Tatiana Tarasova would have defended them. I mean, she's Russian.
I did speak with Tamara Moskvina last week, and she was telling me that Peter Gumenik is a very good boy. And
but he is. He's smart. He's doing great programs, and he skates like nicely, and he has good jumps, and he's good looking. He has it all.
Okay. All right. Oh. I was reading that Makar Ignatov is supposedly the sex symbol of Russian skating today. They said that it's more true.
Okay, let's bring the news. Alexandra Trusova is getting married.
Yes.
And she's getting married to a figure skater, Makar Ignatov. He's from St. Petersburg. Now he trains with Plushenko Academy. Alexandra Trusova is the face of Plushenko Academy in terms of
Angel of Plushenko, as we like to say.
Angel of Plushenko, yeah. Makar is not like the top 3, not among the top 3 Russian men skaters, but he's good. He's very tall, so it's challenging for him, but he's doing a fantastic quadruple loop, fantastic one, and he is good with jumps. But we have many boys, and probably Makar has very low chances to qualify for the international competitions should they ever happen for Russian figure skaters. But Alexandra is getting married. She used to date, a little bit of gossip, she used to date Mark Kondratyuk, another Russian male skater. He was at the Olympics. They dated for 18 months, kind of, and then they split up. He decided to go on with his life, and Alexandra is now dating Makar and getting married, and there was a ring, and she said yes, and the Instagram post, so she's getting married.
Are they getting married soon, do you think?
Oh yes, Alexandra is a very decisive person. I'm sure she's getting married soon. It's not like, you know, it's a different wedding tradition in States and in Russia. Like, I remember Madison and Evan. Evan proposed to Madison 2 years ago, after the last Congress. And they're getting married, like in a couple of days. In Russia, nobody can wait for 2 years. It's not like that. You propose and you have probably, a couple of months until your wedding. So sometimes even, faster, but it's never like years. So I think the wedding is very on the way.
Well, she's a very successful, wealthy girl in Russia. So do you expect the wedding to be as fancy as the chalk and bake wedding in Hawaii?
We haven't seen chalk and bake pictures of the wedding yet. I think it's going to be in People magazine or something. Or Hello. What's your bet, by the way? Who's going to buy the pictures?
People, of course. Yes.
Of course.
I don't know if they're going to buy them. They might. But yes.
Okay.
Online, yeah.
Alexandra, a little follow-up of what's happening to Russian girls from the Olympics. Alexandra is the star of the ice shows, and ice show industry again is like booming in Russia. It's on the rise. Probably not on the rise, but it's doing well. Let's put it this way.
She seems to be the one most into being famous on social media among the girls.
Kamila is definitely the most popular one on social media, I would say.
Yes, but she's not as histrionic as Trusova. Trusova has done a lot of things to get attention since the Olympics. Yes,
but everybody in Russia still perceives her as, this Russian rocket girl, the one who broke all the laws of gravity for girls in terms of quadruple jumps. She's loved. She has lots of fans. Everybody knows that she loves dogs. And now everybody's following her, love life. She is popular, but this popularity of all Russian figure skaters of that time, 2 years ago, come on, is slowly, I wouldn't say decreasing, but there's way less fuzz about them comparing to that time, obviously.
Is she still going to be in some sort of fairy tales? I love, she always plays a dainty
she is the fairy. I think it's the Sleeping Beauty or the Nutcracker.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the Sleeping Beauty, but I may be wrong. I don't know.
It's such appropriate casting, right? I think such.
But people buy tickets to see a beautiful fairy tale on the ice, and Alexandra Trusova. She's not doing quadruple jumps. She's not doing quads, but she's there, and people buy tickets just to see a celebrity on the ice, and she's definitely a celebrity on the ice for those who are kind of interested in figure skating.
Is her skating improving? Is she more graceful? Is she more elegant than she was before?
It's slippery road for me, huh?
Well, you said she's not doing quadruple jumps, so yeah.
I was, of course, a bigger fan of Alexandra when she was competing.
Okay.
To me, I'm not a very big ice show fan to start with. I see that as kind of, I don't know the English word for that, but when you don't invest much and you don't try hard, but just want to get your money and go. So I would never buy a ticket for an ice show myself. But I mean, she's being loved by the public. I don't like the way she skates now, but obviously she's not coming back. That's for sure.
Would you pay to see Tutberidze perform her exhibition where she pulls out all of the musical instruments? Because that was entertainment, Maya. Okay, when she was.
No, you know what I would prefer? I would prefer to see Liza Tutberidze at the competition.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So
I would like to see them all compete against each other. Tutberidze could skate against Trusova, against Shcherbakova.
But that would never happen because neither Shcherbakova nor Trusova, they would not love losing to Tutberidze, who is in a way better physical form. But why aren't you asking me about Shcherbakova and Valieva? Huh?
Okay, well, I wrote down a list of topics. I wanted to ask you, wait, first of all, there's a lot of scandals going on. Okay, Trusova was with Muravyova, and Plushenko didn't have money for his top skater to be in his own ice show. What is happening?
Okay, a little bit of background information. There's Sofia Muravyova, who is the #1 competitive skater in Plushenko Academy. Plushenko Academy is one of the few private ice skating academies in Russia. He gets money from the ice shows that he is staging, simultaneously. He is involving retired skaters as well as, competing skaters and the youngsters, the novice and the juniors. But you can have only one prima, only one diva, and that place is occupied by Alexandra Trusova. Sophia is his #1 competitive skater, so probably she had some aspirations of getting more attention. And I don't know about the money. I haven't looked in their wallets, obviously. But the rumors are that she asked, not rumors, but actually Plushenko's wife, who is the producer of those shows, she said that Sophia asked for too much money and she couldn't afford her. But they are, she's still competing for them and training with them and everything. But you know how in Russia figure skating works? Let's say Sofia Muravyova is not paying for anything while she's skating with Plushenko. Something is covered by the federation, everything else is covered by Plushenko because he's ambitious as a coach and because there are lots of other people paying to be on the same ice with the podium winner of the nationals. So it kind of, some people are following, who is following somebody on Instagram, who is unfollowing Instagram accounts, but they're also young. That can happen pretty much to everybody. So today you follow Sophia, tomorrow you unfollow her. So they say that Trusova is not on good terms with Muravyova, but why should they be? They're in two different worlds. I mean, they probably should be as, colleagues, but they at the same time may easily be just, hi, bye, and that's all.
You were being diplomatic to prevent yourself, because now you're going to have to say that Eteri unfollowed Anna Shcherbakova, her Olympic champion. And
okay. And Shcherbakova is supposedly has unfollowed Eteri in February, at the late winter in February. They have different lives. And Anna she was not participating in Eteri's shows in spring. She had a surgery on her ankle or her foot, I'm not sure. She's having skating seminars in Turkey with Florana Modio. She's having 2 weeks, and then Javier Fernandez is taking over and having other 2 weeks. I'm very, very interested of, where Anna is going, because it could be a foreign university. It could be some coaching career. Like, I have a feeling that something is about to happen, something that she probably would announce. There were some rumors, by the way. She also made some newspaper, front lines that she's dating some football player, but that turned out to be not true. So, people still want to read about Trusova, Valieva, Shcherbakova. So, everything happening in their private life is also very interesting to the public.
Are you rooting for Anna now? Because you've always shaded me for my love for her, but I always told you she was the smartest.
She is the smartest. No, I never argued with that. She is the smartest. And the way she handled this thing with, Anna Shcherbakova is dating a famous football player, she immediately reacted. She didn't want any hype. She didn't want any extra attention. She said, not true. I'm sad that it made the news because this is it was never true and blah, blah, blah. So if she was to get some extra attention, extra followers, she would have played with this fact or with this information. But she's very, very smart. I love the way she handles everything in terms of, publicly. But, I want her to be happy. And I want to see a little bit more of her. I want her to show what she is capable of. But she is definitely not coming back. It's for those who probably still think that it's possible. No, it's not possible.
Well, she was a good presenter when she spoke on television last year.
She is smart. When she does interviews, it's very interesting to listen to her. Her speech is very vivid and rich, and she knows how to put words together. So, she's nice in terms of speaking to her, yes.
Speaking of speakers, Zagitova, the presenter, she's now singing
again. I saw that coming. Okay.
Yes. How is Alina doing?
She's going the show business road, down the show business road. She was performing at some MTV Awards, but Russian version. She was not singing, but she was participating in, let's say, if Taylor Swift had a piece at the MTV Awards and she asked Isabelle Vito to participate as an actor in her number, that would be probably the best analogy. But I don't know. You see, I'm saying lots of because I don't know how to put it correctly. I think she should hire a PR manager that helps her, because so far it's lots of, she's offended with somebody criticizing her. She's getting a school of her own in Kazan, is one of the, in big city in Russia. Like, state is paying for that school to be built, and she's the face of that school. I'm not sure she's going to be coaching there like full time, but no, she's not going to be coaching there full time, but she's the face of that. And there's too much of activity where she's the face of something, not being the essence of something. I mean, she is not 16 anymore. She's not 18 anymore. And so far, all we see is some public appearances at some showbiz events. I'm not a very big fan of that type of career, but, everybody chooses for themselves.
You are a tiger mother. You want Shcherbakova to go to a Swiss university or in the US?
I want her to go to Stanford. I want her to be as good as Sarah Hughes. I mean, I want her to get an MBA, an executive MBA. She's so capable of doing that. So I don't want her to become a coach, because she can do way better than just staying in that figure skating world. I mean, look at Sarah Hughes, seriously. She can be a diplomat. She can be like Michelle Kwan. She has potential.
Okay, what's going on with Zhenya? Did you see the video of her walking the red carpet like a true diva? I mean, she knew.
But she is a diva. Okay, she is a diva. She became, Okay. She used to be a famous figure skater. The Olympic drama, the world champion, the Russian delegation at the International Olympic Committee before the games. She was on the, in the news lines. But at the moment, she became a celebrity of her own. Not many followers of her probably know that she used to be a skater. She has her own YouTube interview show where she interviews people, and it's not necessarily figure skaters. Actually, it's not figure skaters. She is the face of some ad campaigns. She's popular in terms of, she's invited to some like Met Gala equivalents. So she's doing well. She's popular. She is very confident, and she has no PR like failures, not that I'm aware of.
She does have a boyfriend who is a pair skater, but I don't even know.
Yes, and now he's competing for Uzbekistan.
Oh, yes. We are going to see Samodelkina, right, for other countries.
Yes. So what we have, speaking of releases, Russia released a junior, Sofia Titova, for Armenia. Released Sofia Samodelkina for Kazakhstan. She can compete as junior, but she's 19. She either already turned 19 or she's about to turn 19. So she can do the adult series challenges as well. And those two girls are from Plushenko Academy. And my biggest interest is that if we're going to see Evgeny Plushenko by the boards at the international competitions this season, because his reputation in terms of, the political involvement probably would not allow him to do that, but we'll see. So who else? We also have Annabelle Morozov being released by Russian Federation of Figure Skating. Only her, no partner, just Annabelle Morozov.
But she's skating with the brother of your favorite American skater, Karen Chen. Yes. She is skating with Jeffrey Chen.
I'm dying to see them at the competition, but you kind of have, how to say, high competition among those American ice dance teams that are not top 3, right? So I'm afraid it's going to be tough for Annabelle to succeed, but we'll see.
Stay with a partner for longer than 6 to 8 months. There was a lot of
I'm not sure she would probably stay with Jeffrey Chen either, but what options does she have? She's using every chance.
I think this is getting her back into US skating. She's a huge talent. And there were stories that Nina Mosier used to split up teams on the practice, repair people together.
Trying to wrangle them.
And I think we need to do this in US ice dance as well. But you know what? We're getting her in the fold. Michael,
who will get that quarter for Skate America? Tell me, what's your bet? Let's make bets.
Okay.
Well, let's first say who we're choosing from.
From Annabelle.
Wolfkostin, Tsarevsky. Oh, no. Flores Desyatov.
Yes.
Wolfkostin, Tsarevsky,
Yeah.
Annabelle, Jeffrey Chan, supposedly. Who else? Whom have I missed?
Vanessa Pham, Anton
Vanessa Pham, of course. Yes, yes, yes. Anton Spiridonov. So what's your bet?
I think it'll be Annabelle.
Okay.
Or
I would go for Vanessa and Anton.
I think it's between those two as the most promising in terms of their technical ability, right? I just think that Annabelle and Jeffrey have been skating together a little bit longer, so they would have the leg up on, doing that. Plus, Annabelle is certainly used to skating with new partners, so she has experience.
It's a strong side.
Yeah.
So not many releases happened from Russia. There's also another pair team that might go for Armenia in December. We'll see. So it's not like Top Guns. None from the Top Guns have been released.
There's, slight speculation of ice dance teams coming back, but nothing is official yet. So as things stand now, I'm going to say leaning towards Annabelle and Jeffrey, because I heard that they're going for monitoring next weekend at a competition in Virginia. And I think also, Charlie White, the officials basically invented, that school. They paired him with Greg Zerline. They sent teams there to work together. I don't know if the USFS is ready to completely give up on
that project.
Yeah. And I think that if Annabelle is associated with it, they may give it one more chance. And there's a little bit of an anti-Montreal sentiment, within the USFS that they're becoming.
Probably like to balance it. Actually, it makes sense to balance those schools, like politically, strategically. It would be an interesting choice. Yeah, good choice. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to, see what happens there. I don't know. It'll be they will likely compete in Lake Placid against each other, so that'll make the summer interesting. It's at the end of July.
I will definitely tune in. This is for sure.
Yeah, and listen, there's going to be, I think, a lot of couples. Usually, Team Israel goes, and it's supposed to be bigger this year among the ice dance teams. So I think I
would have gone definitely there, because I mean I've been to Lake Placid. It's a lovely place. I love nature there, and it's a nice town. So if you can go,
yes,
this is not to you but to the viewers.
Well, what's happening with Eteri? What's going on? How is she doing?
She just had seminars in Mexico, along with Gleihengaus and Dudakov. I think it was a 2-week seminar, probably a little bit shorter. There would be a second season for that TV show where Big Girls, yep. But she has, Akateva is reportedly coming back and skating again. She has Adelia Petrosyan, she has pairs. I think she'll be coaching, but I still personally think that her biggest interest is still Diana and Gleb, which is probably natural as a mother. I understand that.
Yeah. Well, can you believe that our girl, Alena Kostornaia, she's just training and working hard. She hasn't had any drama for several months now. It's very unlike her.
Very unusual, right?
Yes.
She's getting ready for the season. They announced programs. I think they're keeping Angel, the revised Angel version, as the short, and they're doing Master and Margarita for the free. For me, it's the biggest mystery, what keeps them going. Because they do lots of shows with Plushenko. And at the same time, she's not in the national team because we have lots of strong pair teams, and it's very difficult to make the national team for them. So they didn't make it, which means they don't have support from the state. They don't have funding. They can still skate for free at the rink. This is how things are done in Russia, but they're not paid a salary. They are not funded in terms of costumes. But they're doing shows, they're funding themselves. She's skating with her husband, Georgi Kunitsa. I'm rooting for them because I love that story. It's like a movie. She didn't give up. Look at that generation, Shcherbakova, Trusova, they all, going on with their lives, and she's still there skating. At least it's worth respecting her choice and looking at her. But, they need time. Pair skating is all about time spent together. You have to glue in. You have to, I'm not even speaking about chemistry. I'm talking about like technical stuff. You need time together. And they still kind of miss that. When you see them skating against some other Russian teams, they're not as confident as the rest of them.
But could this be a strategy, right? If you think Boykova, Kozlovsky, Mishina, Galyamov, I can't see them going much longer than 2026, although anything could happen. Could that be her time? You know, they need several years together.
The problem is that there are some other new young pair teams in Russia. So I mean, everything can happen, but I wouldn't bet my money on that.
Do you think she's still a girl with a lot of temperament, with a lot of character?
Oh, yeah, temperament is definitely there. It's still there. But I respect her attitude to pair skating. The fact that she didn't quit yet, she hasn't quit yet. I mean, I applaud her.
I mean, when are we going to see a throw triple axel from her or something, right? I mean,
let's first see a good death spiral, okay?
Oh, Maya! Oh, very shady. Yes, and you used to like to make fun of me for supporting Arseny Fedotov. Is he still going to be in the juniors this year? Is he moving up to senior? What is his status?
I think he's staying in juniors.
Okay,
but I'm not following juniors much, to be honest, recently, because so much is happening. And you know,
isn't he like a child romance in Russia now? That
yeah, but you know, you have to realize that it's not, Russian figure skating is not as big as it used to be. And Arseny is dating Alisa Dveglazova, who is another junior in Eteri Academy. But it would have been a big story if there were international competitions where they could shine. And when it's just an internal market, it's so different. When people say that international arena, like world figure skating, misses Russian figure skaters is one thing, but we have to, I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm just saying that there is a point of view like that. But there is another thing, that Russian figure skating, being strong, competitive still, is suffering from not being able to, you know, be at the international arenas. So the attention is slowly decreasing, obviously. So probably Arseny and Alisa and their love story, you know, those, you know, teenage romance would have been a big news. But at the moment, only fans know that.
Yeah, it's interesting that they don't have like a reality show or something to get the interest up. The ISU
who would watch that? But who would watch that?
Is Eteri still famous in Russia? You know, if they had...
Eteri is famous in Russia, but you have to realize that she participated in that. She was a star of that reality show, Big Girls. And she was there, only her, no Dudakov, no Gleihengaus. She was not there as a figure skating coach, and the ratings were really good. And people who watched that reality show, they are not figure skating audience, not figure skating community. And she is very famous now for being a face of discipline. They know that she is famous coach, probably, but probably some of them don't even know where, like gymnastics, figure skating, but you know, she is famous. She could easily make money on that, be a face for some bank, or you know.
I would, if I were a producer, I would propose, you know, either a docu-series or, you know, realities where she is coaching the next generation of stars. She has that girl that did the quad, Euler quad.
You need international competitions for that.
We could,
because the highest title that we have at the moment is national champion.
But I thought national champion, I thought that the Russians, that competition, they used to tell us for years that it was more exciting than the world championships, that it was...
But you know why? Of course, yes, it's the toughest competition for them. But you know why? Because you get that quarter for the international competitions. If you take that away, and it's happening, it's been happening for 2 years already, of course, it's nice to be a Russian national champion.
We could make it so patriotic. You know, it could be like a Soviet times, right? We could have the flags, the military. Come on, we could really do this, Maya. Like you got.
I'm a little bit, you know, too tired of politics and Russian figure skating, so I would pass. Sorry.
I'm just telling you. Well, what I think that, you know, we could have Valieva visit it. You know, discussing what her status? You know, she was really becoming the puppet of Putin.
She had a haircut. Let's start with this. She is okay, she's not skating. She is about to take part in Tatiana Navka new ice show. It's been promised that she would, you know, skate there in June, but then they postponed it to July. So we'll probably see her there because there are no acting figure skaters. Can I say acting figure skaters? So the ones who still compete, because water would not allow Kamila to be on the same ice with those competing figure skaters because that could result in disqualification. But it's only retired skaters, so it's safe, kind of. She is opening ceremonies for some government games of computer sport. She is at some government events. She is posting on her Instagram the support she has for the government and president. I don't know what's happening there, but it looks like she doesn't have any other choice. I wouldn't call her a hostage or a victim. She has a wonderful life. She has lots of money. She is there sitting next to president at some events. I don't know if she could, you know, skip that. But on the other hand, she doesn't have any other income source at the moment. I don't know. It's complicated. It makes me sad. I wouldn't lie. Do I believe? I know they're going to ask me that. Do I believe if she's coming back? I don't know. She's still at she's still on water testing pool, which means that she hasn't declared that her career is over. But personally, I would love that to happen. But I mean, for her to come back, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, it was becoming unlikely. She was struggling in the competitions, obviously. But
she has to, she has to not fight puberty, but she has to wait for a little bit of time. In a year or so, she will, have zero problems with growing body and things like that. And she could pull those jumps together, I'm sure. The question of motivation is there. And now, Russian athletes would probably be allowed to competitions only as neutral. Even if they're allowed, it will be a neutral status. What kind of neutral status can Kamila have if she is by President Putin's side all the time? So I don't think that's possible. And I think she realizes that. Although, again, I have to emphasize, it would be interesting to see her back on competitive ice.
Certainly. I mean, it would be the biggest stunt of all time if she did. I was wondering what you thought about what's going on in Japan. We don't, Shoma Uno retired. Obviously,
yeah.
Yuma, he's not as popular as Yuzuru Hanyu.
Not yet. Yeah, but nobody can be as popular as Yuzuru Hanyu, I'm afraid. So that's a bad comparison.
Do you want to see Shoma and Yuzu skate together? What do you think is going to happen?
I'm dying to see Kaori's new programs. I heard they're good. I want her to become 4th-time world champion. I want her to become the Olympic champion. I'm taken by her skating. I love her jumps. I love the way she behaves off ice. So I'm team Kaori, that's for sure. In terms of men, what actually is the most interesting thing in the Japan team for me is the team event at the Olympics. What they can do there, because they really can medal. And very much depends on the ice dance team they have, but it's going to be so interesting. And for me, it's going to be, the team event is going to be really interesting next time, because even if Russia is back, and at the moment, as neutral, obviously, right? And at the moment, none of the winter federations allowed any Russians back in neutral stages. It's not like summer games when we have around 50 Olympians going there as neutrals, right? So I lost what I was talking about. Okay. So even if Russians are allowed back, they cannot do team sports. So they cannot do the team event, because what kind of neutral team can you have? So it's definitely going to be some other teams, fighting for that podium, and so much can happen. Italy, Georgia, even Korea. So
come down to the Georgian boy and how good they are? And is Eteri's coaching of Nika Agadze enough to secure a medal for the Georgian team?
He is pretty solid with his jumps. He says that he has problems on, psychological side, and because he is the king of practices, and he needs to show that in competition. But we'll see. Georgia has pretty strong team. Like the average level is good enough to medal. I would put it this way.
What about the Italian Daniel Grasso coming back after?
Oh, we see him on the was it the Finland or I think it was Finnish Grand Prix event. He is coming back. Yes, I heard that we're gonna hear some kind of announcement that he's back. Although I'm a little bit surprised that Italian Federation hasn't given us any details of what has happened. And that's obvious that something has happened if he disappeared for a year. But he's trying to be back, and there will be a big fight for those world quarters, for those world spots among Italian men. Yes.
Yeah. And what do you make of Alyssa Liu coming back to shake things up with the American women?
I'm afraid that it will stress Isabel Levita out. I don't know. Let's see. But what I saw, like her doing shows, she still needs some more time, obviously. But, I'm always for interesting dramas, plots to unveil. If somebody's coming back, it's worth, respecting, because it's great, because she could stay in her comfort zone, but she preferred to come back. Probably she understood that life without figure skating is less exciting. Less travel, press conferences, podiums. After all, figure skating life for an athlete is kind of exciting. That's why when they retire, majority of them face this blues, depression, I don't know how to call that, because everything was settled. You had schedule for everything. You didn't have to think of anything. So probably she decided that, that could be worth a shot, but we'll see. What do you think?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't expect her to do a triple axel, at least not this season.
Not yet. Oh,
yeah,
no, not yet. It doesn't look like that. I don't know, but it doesn't look like that.
I think if she tried to get it back, it would definitely be for the Olympic season. It'll be interesting to see Ava Ziegler, what she could do, because
that's interesting. And Lindsay Tongren as well, actually. So
and Lindsay supposedly is going to do a spiral in her program for 12 counts of music. It's going to be out forever. I haven't seen it.
This is what we missed in latest women figure skating. I would love that to happen.
I think with Lindsay, it's going to come down to rotating her jumps, and that's been, a problem.
Yeah, technical side is very important in terms of Lindsay's case, but
that Tutberidze technique, this was always the debate, that when skaters become older, that it would fail. We saw it with Yulia Lipnitskaya and so many of them. And now that the age has increased, it's interesting. People thought it would hurt the Russians. I think it's actually going to hurt a lot of American skaters who were taught that pre-rotation technique with the smaller jumps. And it's going to be interesting to see kind of which skaters, because I think Lindsay has beautiful spins. She has, great programs. Can she do, enough? Yeah.
I know that she can do so much on the ice. She just needs to rotate those jumps. That's true.
And then Amber Glenn, what do you make of her?
Of course, yeah, but we're not mentioning Isabel and Amber because they're going to be everywhere on all the competitions, and your nationals will be pretty exciting this season, huh?
And are you ready for Diana Stellato? Do you think that the defense of her world champion, is this going to give us a lot of drama? It's a lot of pressure to defend.
You know what? I don't think she needs to defend the title. To be honest, if she could take this season to regroup and to get ready for the Olympics, to medal there, I think it's way more like that should be a priority. She doesn't need to be. What?
Have you met her? She didn't get a lobotomy in the off season. She's going to want to win every competition.
I know. She's a fighter. I know. But still, it's not like she shouldn't have this pressure that, okay, now Diana should win everything. The ultimate goal is the Olympics, right? She's already a world champion. So she should, I'm not a coach. I'm not giving any advice, but definitely Olympics is way more important than another title.
I think it's going to be event television this year, especially when we get to the big competitions. Get out your popcorn.
But
right?
you know what? Diana and Ilya
Mhm.
are those two names that ISU officials mention when they talk about storytelling.
Mhm.
That figure skating needs personalities and stories that would be interesting for the audience.
Mhm.
That's why I'm definitely sure that there will be a documentary about Diana coming up.
Yes.
There will be a documentary about Ilya and his parents, because actually at the Congress, they were talking that there was supposed to be a documentary series about the Grand Prix series last season, but it didn't happen because many of the skaters, they didn't want to open up and they didn't want to talk much off the ice. I mean, about their life off the ice. And Colin Smith was really surprised. He was like, but we need that happening. We need to show people are way more interested in what's happening behind the scenes than actually on the ice. So we need to give them those stories. We need to show them to get to know people there on the ice.
It needs to
So
be on Netflix. It cannot be on the ISU channel. We need a real one where
yes, we need a real one. But Diana's story can be on Hollywood. Like seriously, it's
okay. Who do you want? If they had to choose like between 6 to 7, 8 people, who would you cast? Deanna and Max, right? Obviously. I mean,
I thought you're talking about the actors who would play Diana.
No. Like I want reality, like filmic Deanna and Max. Right? Yes. Obviously,
That's for sure.
Ilya and his father, Yuma and his father, right? We have to.
Yeah, the generational story always sells good, right? Alena, but are we talking about the competing athletes, right? Not the historical figure. Yeah.
But we need some drama in this, right? This is boring. Ilya jumps. What's the story?
We had the series about the Montreal school about Gabrielle and Guillaume. So probably that shouldn't, I mean,
oh, come on.
that wouldn't
Compared to what they could have talked about, that was a very boring, sanitized. I mean, that was about Hubble and Donahue fighting, right? That's why we watched that show. Meanwhile, we didn't know that Gabby and Guillaume were having so many, difficulties with, yes.
To be honest, Diana, Ilya, I don't know,
Evan and Sylvia.
Yes, but he needs a title for that documentary.
Well, it could be following him to try to get that title, realizing his potential.
Kevin versus Adam?
Yes, Kevin versus Adam.
I know I've started talking about Russians again, but to be honest, a documentary of where those girls, that generation, where it's gone, probably it will be interesting as well, but not at the moment. Of course, not until all these things are happening and Russia is banned and the war is still on. But after that, probably there could be a documentary about that as well.
Did you put Isabeau in the documentary? Does she have diva potential for you?
I think she's still perceived as a post junior.
Okay.
So I don't know, not yet. Probably not yet. She's a fighter. She has a character. Oh yes, she has a character. But I think that for the audience to be really intrigued and interested, first you need either a failure, like Amber. A drama.
You need Amber realizing.
Yeah, of course, Amber. Yeah, of course, Amber. This is for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to. Okay, so we're gonna put in Kevin and Adam, Amber, Deanna and Max. Oh, he's so delightful if you meet him, right?
Okay. Yeah, of course I know.
His parents, Yuma.
Okay. What about ice dance?
I'm sorry, ice dance.
Ice dance.
Lila and Lucas.
Okay.
Everybody likes them, right?
Yeah, they're too sweet. There's no conflict in there, and we need a documentary about the conflict.
Montreal needs less conflict this season, right? They want to show us that they're the good people again. They're the nice school, right?
Speaking to you, I just realized how much I missed the season. That's true.
You miss it. How am I going to get you into gymnastics? I've tried for months to get you into it. There's going to be a documentary.
Because I know nothing about gymnastics. Like seriously.
Excuse me. You tell me all the time that it's not popular in Russia. I talked to Tamara Moscovina. Fascinating conversation. First of all, she just started asking me about my life. I was sweating. Like I was more nervous than, it's Tamara, right? So I was talking to her about gymnastics and how I told her I was trying to get you into gymnastics. And she was like, it's very popular in Russia. We have so many, But
you know what? Probably she was talking about the rhythmic gymnastics.
No, she was talking about artistic. We were
Really?
yes, because there were so many legendary Soviet gymnasts in the 70s and the 80s. So
At the moment, there are some BRICS games going on in Russia. It's the games of those countries who are part of this Brazil, South Africa, India, this BRICS. But there are also some other countries participating, but there are not many, foreign athletes who came to Russia, obviously. And there is a artistic gymnastic tournament there, and we see Gelia Melnikova, and we see Nagorny, and we see some other famous Russian gymnasts, but it doesn't attract that much attention.
what's work in the doing?
I hate arguing with Tamara Moskvina.
Yes,
but at the moment it's not that popular because, especially in terms of gymnastics, you need Olympics.
She told me that I need a Russian girlfriend so that I could learn Russian better.
You need a Russian girlfriend? Okay, Tamara.
You want to be my Russian girlfriend, Maya? I could ask you out on the air.
But I love Tamara Moskvina, seriously.
She's such a wise woman. She said that to me. I thought,
okay, but
is being recorded, right? Like I thought
it's her way of putting that.
Is the FSB on the line? Yes.
Isn't it flattering that Tamara Moskvina is preoccupied with your personal life? Huh?
She can talk to me about anything, right? Yes, we could love her, right? Yes. She was telling me, Galyamov graduated from the university, so they needed more time off. So this is,
But they're competing this season. They have new programs, and Bykova Kozlovsky are doing the new programs, and they're doing the quad throw, Bykova and Kozlovsky, and they did, I think it was 5 or 6 successful attempts on landings of that quad throw during the Eteri show series. So they kind of, they're definitely capable of doing that. I don't know if they can do it in the program. That's the whole other thing. But, they're raising the stakes.
I would do a docu-series, 4 pairs, following each other for the title of Russia. So we make Russian skating seem exciting. Bykova Kozlovsky with Mishna Galyamov, the legendary Tamara Moskvina, right? And then we could put in some of the up-and-coming pairs. We could put in Kostornaia, right?
Of course, we would love to put Kostornaia, but we have some other teams. But you know what?
You just said that you need drama in a series, right? That you need drama.
You see, I look sad and not very enthusiastic about that because no Russian figure skating can make it to documentaries or to screens until they're back.
No, and we could talk about how they've been struggling, without the international competition.
No, you cannot talk about that because they would never speak up. All they say is that we're very grateful to our federation, which is true. Federation is doing lots of things for them. They are creating the whole new calendar, substituting the international tournaments. They are investing. They are, supporting them financially. But they would never say what they really feel, how much they miss the international competition, how much the Olympic title means for them, because this ongoing drama with the awards ceremony for the team event, whether it's going to happen in Paris or not, because for me, it's a very big question. What if, let's say, CAS, the court, says that Russia stays with bronze, and they have the hearing on July 22nd. And supposedly, as Christian Brown reported, they plan to do the award ceremony in Paris, August the 7th. Then, if CAS ruling says that Russia should stick to bronze and get bronze medals, why would you have a ceremony for only gold and bronze? And at the same time, how can you imagine having Russians on the podium in Paris? So it's kind of,
that as well, because they have a hearing, right? But usually it's 30 days or more until, the Valieva hearing happened, and it was weeks later. Also, we need to talk
I have my hair in my head.
You have longer hair than you did when we last saw you. You keep,
No, it's just that I have a hair in my eye and I can barely see you.
But on the other side, you've been very Marie France the whole time. I'm liking this for you. You're feeling, you visited the Montreal school and you're very elegant now, and
it hurts. You shouldn't make fun of me. It hurts.
It hurts. Okay, yes.
So I don't know, but ISU said that they expect the ruling to go public before the Olympic Games.
Okay. Man, I would love for the Russians to show up for the Oh my goodness, the sight
It's
of
going
it.
to be so much drama. Yeah.
Yes. Come on, we'll
But
always.
you know what? They need visas. It's not that simple. And I don't think it's happening. And I don't think it's in anybody's interest to have Russians on the podium in Paris.
Come on, what if they are lining up for the ceremony again and it gets canceled? Like there.
No. But to be honest, even if Russia, keeps its bronze medals, I don't think Russia will let them go to get those medals, because inside the country, everybody will keep saying that they are our team event Olympic champions,
Oh, come
right?
on, seeing a Russian in third place would be such a Christmas present to everyone. Like,
of course, yes, but at the same time, there are 3 appeals, at the moment from Russian side, claiming that those gold medals should belong to Russia. So, I mean, for me, it was very surprising that ISU decided to give Russia bronze medals. I never expected that to happen. I'm here like Canada, right? Why? But I don't know. The ISU lawyer kind of tried to explain it at the Congress that if they did that, it would have meant that no Kamila Valieva was ever present at the team event. So they kind of had to keep Canadian points the same. But it didn't make much sense to me, but I'm not a lawyer.
I think that was it was a creative argument, right? It was yes.
I don't know.
We don't know.
We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see. I think it's happening very soon.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and enjoy your holiday in the south of France. You've really become an ice dancer. I love this for you.
Holiday with 3 kids. Oh, you cannot call it a holiday.
How old are your kids?
17, 9, and 5.
Are you being a good tiger mother?
Oh, yes, I'm a Russian mother.
Yeah. This is great.
Okay, have fun, and everybody keep watching figure skating with Dave.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.